Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and today's video is all about having fun and restoring or keeping up that excitement for drawing and sketching or painting. There are enough times we experience art block, burnout or just lose motivation because we compare ourselves to other artists. If you don't want to lose your passion for art completely, it's super important to do something for yourself from time to time. To draw something that you enjoy without putting any pressure on yourself. I know that it can be hard to prioritize some silly art you do purely for fun. We're all busy people. Maybe you have a strict art study schedule for yourself like I do. Whatever it is that you quote-unquote should do before you draw something for fun, it makes it really hard not to feel guilty if you prioritize what makes you happy instead. For most of us, what makes us happy just feels less important, even though the joy of doing something feels so re-energizing, and we all know that. The most helpful thing for me was actually building a habit of drawing, or more specifically, getting addicted to drawing. But you probably guessed it, this is easier said than done. I'm still trying to find the right balance in order to maintain that kind of art addiction. For the past few months, my focus has very much shifted to improvement of my art and studying fundamentals, which worked surprisingly well and also got me kind of addicted to drawing. When you start studying a lot over the course of a few weeks, you'll eventually improve, which makes the exercise itself more fun in return. Gesture drawing is a great example for that, but that's not what I wanted to talk about today. However, I don't want to say that studying art is no fun at all. It can be, but I think most people don't really think of fundamentals first when they want to draw for fun. So if you force yourself to study all the time, it's inevitable that you'll lose the initial excitement for drawing. You don't feel like picking up your sketchbook today, maybe tomorrow, you take a break. And before you know it, 3 months have passed. Joking aside, breaks are fine and necessary. But do you know what I mean? The longer you didn't draw, the harder it gets to do it again sometimes. So what can you do to get back or keep up that momentum? Obviously, the answer to this question is drawing for fun, just for yourself. So, what is fun to you? What makes you happy? There are the things you draw over and over, and because you're doing that, you're really good at it. And it's fun because you're good at it. You know best what that is for you. Let me know in the comments if you want, I'm curious. But I have some more ideas that I'd like to share with you, which could be fun. It's all about the things you love. Maybe you didn't draw all of them yet, and maybe you're not good at drawing them right away, but I found out for me that if it's something I like, it's also fun for me to figure it out, if that makes sense. The most obvious thing you can do for fun is any kind of fan art, just like I do for this video. You could draw your favorite characters of your favorite show, movie or anime. If you like playing video games, the same goes for video game characters. If you created your playable character yourself, that's even more fun. I mean, you created them, so you probably like them the way they are, don't you? In my previous video, I drew my World of Warcraft Demon Hunter and I enjoyed it so much. It's honestly so amazing to have found something you can draw over and over without getting bored. Also, I just learned from some of you guys that video game characters you created can be your OCs. Isn't that so cool? By the way, thank you for letting me know. This actually made me feel so much better about my Demon Hunter and that I draw her so often. However, it doesn't have to be characters you can make fan art of. You can also do landscapes if you're more into that. Whatever the real comfort stuff is for you, or what you really feel like drawing even if you didn't draw it before. Another idea is drawing your pet if you have one, and if you don't, what's your favorite animal? Before I had my 2 little kitties, I drew a lot of foxes. Not all the time, but every now and then. Now I'm drawing a lot more cats. I guess I'm easy to figure out. Whatever I love, I want to draw. If you enjoy food illustration, draw your favorite food or food you find aesthetically pleasing, like anime food, for example. And if you don't know because you never tried drawing food, I highly recommend trying it out. It has something very satisfying to it. You could also fill an entire page or spread with your favorite things. They can be actual objects, treats, or even little doodles of activities you like. And you could also write a few words or sentences about the things you drew. I used to have a spread like that in my older bullet journals, and the doodles weren't even that great, but looking at those pages always made me kinda happy because it reminded me of all the little things I love. Another idea that I think is fun is filling a page with things that have your favorite colors. Trust me, that will look great. You could also use your sketchbook as an art journal and illustrate your day. Draw what you did, where you have been, what you ate and drank, who you've been with, and whatever comes to your mind. And if everything I've mentioned so far feels overwhelming, just pick up a random pen, open your sketchbook and let your hand move. Doodles, blobs, scribbles, it doesn't matter. The hardest part of doing anything is always getting started. So just do some stupid, mindless warm-ups and make getting started as easy and comfortable as possible for you. You could also try out some other media and just mess around and test some mixed media. See what kinds of textures you can create. Maybe you find something you really enjoy. I love the combination of alcohol-based markers and colored pencils, or watercolors or gouache and colored pencils. Basically everything plus colored pencils. I sometimes love to do line art with thick paint pens for simpler doodles. It makes them look so bold and graphic, and colored line art is fun in general. Maybe that's something you enjoy too. You could also try different locations. If you don't feel like sitting at your desk again, maybe you have a balcony or a garden and the sun is shining. Or maybe you even want to try drawing at a cafe, just like all the vloggers do. Order your favorite drink and a little treat and celebrate your little self-care drawing session. You really want to associate art with something positive. And this is why you want to end on a high note with your drawing sessions. When it doesn't go as expected and you're getting frustrated, try drawing your comfort stuff before you end the session. You can also try to recreate some conditions or circumstances you remember when drawing was the most fun for you. For example, with music you listened to or shows you watched. I think I've talked about this before, but as a kid I often spent the summers at my grandparents'. I had some of those learn how to draw books and drew and painted everything from those books in their garden. So whenever I take the chance to draw outside and it's sunny, it brings me back to those days when drawing was basically all I wanted to do. So never underestimate the power of nostalgia. And recently, I'm using my own videos as an outlet to talk about things that are on my mind. Since I've been doing a lot of studies lately, the excitement fades a little bit already. So doing this fun fan art spread in my sketchbook and talking about fun things to draw really motivates me to keep my passion for drawing alive. So if you're struggling with doing the fun stuff or feeling guilty when you do, you're not alone. And if you have anything you do that helps you to restore or keep up the excitement for drawing, feel free to share, I'd love to know. I actually didn't want to do fan art for this video at first, but regarding the topic I'm talking about, I thought it would be a missed opportunity if I didn't. Those of you who are into anime probably know Frieren from the anime Frieren Beyond Journey's End. I actually wanted to draw a few characters, but I ended up only drawing the main character because it was fun. Mission accomplished. Mani and I watched this anime recently, and at first we didn't really get what it was actually about, but after a few episodes in, we really enjoyed it. It's wholesome and comforting and kinda sad, but in a beautiful way. I don't really know how to describe it without saying too much, but let me know if you watched it and what you think of it. Well, there's one tiny little thing we couldn't really get used to, and most of you probably won't bother that so much, but as a German, the characters, cities, mountain ranges, everything just has the weirdest name. The names are the most basic and random German words, not actual names. Well, random isn't true though. Most words kinda fit the characters, but it's still kinda hard to get used to. Like frieren, for example, is just the German word for freezing in the sense of being cold. Fern is the word for far away, and stark just means strong. And every time we got used to those names, there are more characters introduced with even more ridiculous names, so we couldn't really stop making fun of that. Any other German-speaking people here who watched it and felt the same way about it? Or are we just extremely childish? I mean, wouldn't surprise me either, to be honest. After I finished the sketches, I decided to color a few of them, so I added some line art. That's the obvious proof that I really had fun. It didn't really start out as what I mean by drawing for yourself. It never is completely for myself once I turn on the camera, but I got so carried away that I almost forgot the camera. I rarely do sketches, line art and coloring in only one video, and in the end I removed a lot of that footage so that the video wouldn't get too long, but I think that proves that I really had a good time. I also ended on a high note because I really like how the spread turned out, and now, while I'm recording this voiceover, I'm craving to draw. I am glad that Frieren has a very minimal color palette, so it didn't take too long to pick the colors. I also kept the coloring very simple. I didn't do a lot of blending, especially at the binding, because I didn't want the ink to bleed through my cover spread. Due to the slightly cream-colored paper of my sketchbook, the skin color turned out a bit darker than it actually is. But I think it's fine. Even though Frieren is a really pale elf, I couldn't resist the urge to give her a little bit of a blush. I just love the way it looks with alcohol-based markers. Yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to talk about for this video. I hope you found it helpful or motivating, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more art content. Thank you so much for watching, hopefully till the end, and have a wonderful rest of your day.